Welcome back. It may not be something many parents want to do, but recent studies show talking with kids about sex is working. Joining us today to talk about some tips on how to speak with your kids about sex is Barbara Lee. She's an ordained interfaith minister and author of the books Sacred Sex, Replacing the Marriage Ethic with a Sexual Ethic, and Tension in the Tank. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Kathleen.
You shared a couple of really interesting statistics coming out of the CDC. First of all, 90% of sexually active teens today are using contraceptives, and the number of teens having sex is at an all-time low. This seems like good news, right?
It's very good news, and it shows that we need to continue having more and more open and realistic conversations with our kids. Because the flip side of that is that those statistics bear out where we're teaching abstinence plus education and equipping our kids with tools. In the places where we're doing abstinence only education, we're actually seeing increasing pregnancy and increasing sexually transmitted diseases.
Wow, okay, well you've got some terrific suggestions for talking with our teens about sex. You say move beyond the fear. What do you mean by that?
Well, we have such a polarized society. We treat sex either like it's something dangerous and shameful, or we treat it like it's a marketing campaign and a sport. And we need to find that middle ground where we celebrate our sexuality and treat it with moral integrity. And we need to give our youth the tools to be able to manage their sexuality in the midst of those contradictory messages.
You want us to stop telling kids that sex is a sin?
I do. We need
Excuse me for coughing.
we need to talk about the good value of healthy sexuality.
Okay. And next you say talk about sex as much and as often as possible.
Absolutely. You know, the average age of exposure to internet pornography now is 11 years old, moving down to 10 years old.
Wow.
So long before high school, 5th and 6th graders are turning on their computers, their laptops, watching any number of sexual acts, and we need to be able to talk to them about realistic expectations around sex, around their bodies, and around how to respect themselves and not objectify other human beings.
In fact, you want honest, candid answers to their questions.
Absolutely. If we don't answer those questions, they will find the answers.
Yikes. Teens are much wiser, you say, than we often give them credit for. They know more than we think.
We do. I think we often worry that if we equip teens with the information that they're seeking, that somehow we give license to indiscriminate sex. The opposite is true. When we treat our kids with trust and respect, then they learn that they can trust themselves, they can take ownership over their own bodies, and they can treat themselves with respect as well as any partners.
The problem is there's so much guilt and shame surrounding sex acts and conversation and all of that jazz. You want that gone.
Absolutely. We need to get rid of that. The fact is that whether we like the idea or not, our teenagers are engaged in sexual activity. Even though the rates are down, 47% of high schoolers are having sex, 62% of high school seniors. So we need to start looking realistically at the world in which they live and equip them to make healthy sexual choices.
In fact, you say something that I think is probably quite controversial. You say provide teens with access to condoms and birth control methods.
Yes, we obviously want our youth to make wise choices about whether they're going to have sex. And the fact is, if they're going to make that choice, then we need to make sure that they're equipping themselves to protect themselves and their partner from sexually transmitted disease and unplanned pregnancy. Just telling youth not to have sex is not working.
Yeah, and it's not reality.
It's not reality.
Yeah. All right, well, if you want to get a hold of the books or find more information on this topic, we've put it all on our website. Go to WZZM13.com under Take 5. Glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Up next, we're going to give you a peek at a new film shot here in Grand Rapids. Stay with us for that.